Hey, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time, welcome in general. This is the 5th video to probably going to be a 10-part video series on exactly how to create a Facebook ad system and an AI chatbot system, marry them together so you can generate high quality leads for your business. So my intent here with this series is to leave no stone unturned. There's a lot of content out there about Facebook ads and lead forms and AI chatbots and all that stuff. But a lot of times people are just putting theory out there, or they're giving you the information and they're not showing you how to do it. My intent with these videos here, I'm going to show you click by click. I'm going to give you the content. I'm going to give you these handouts. You can literally copy and paste this stuff. In this example, we're using a pressure washing business, but it doesn't really matter what it is. The fundamentals still apply. Whether you run a contracting company, you're an attorney, you run a real estate firm, you're a business lender, whatever it is, these fundamentals will still apply to you. And maybe in the future, I'll actually make videos to show you how I translate what I teach you here into different industries. My name is Justin. I run a company called LeadBrain where we do this full service for other companies, but my intent here is not to sell you on anything, it's to show you how to do it yourself. So let's hop right into it. First and foremost, big disclaimer, I say this in every video and it's because I mean it, right? You know, when you're like in class and somebody stomps on the floor like, hey, you should pay attention to this. Watch these videos all the way through. These are technical videos. There are small details. And if you've done anything with automations or AI, or just set up anything for your company, like set up your Google business profile, you know that the details matter. So if you miss one step, it could be frustrating if you're trying to troubleshoot that later on. So I'm trying to prevent that. Please watch these videos all the way through. Don't scroll reels and be distracted while you're trying to do this. Sit down and get it done. Now, in the past, if you haven't watched the other videos, we went over the series overview, what we're going to cover in this entire series, the systems overview, a GoHighLevel overview where we actually built out our account with our bare bones foundation, what we need to plug and play this entire Facebook ad system. And then I went into showing you how to create a Facebook page, which is absolutely necessary in order to do any of this. So if you haven't watched those, I highly recommend you go back. There's a playlist under my channel. You can go to that playlist and watch them in order. Now, in this video, we're going to cover a few things. The most important thing is being the Facebook lead form. We're also going to cover the calendar, and I'm going to show you some tips and tricks. Facebook lead forms have a bad rap. Facebook lead form leads have a bad rap. Some people say they're spammy. Some people say that the contact information is inaccurate. I'm going to show you some tricks that I've learned on how to prevent that stuff and how to improve the quality of your lead and still keep everything on Facebook, because there's benefits to that. So, quick discussion before we go into the technical stuff. I bold this and I make it big: lead quality over lead volume. And I try to tell people this all the time, especially for the companies we run ads for. A lot of times they've had experiences with other companies and they promise them cheap leads. Hey, we'll get you $15 roofing leads. But like when they get there and they start working with them, they realize that the leads are tire kickers, or the leads don't even answer the phone, or they're kind of like just a bunch of spammy leads. And it doesn't do you any good. As a matter of fact, in my opinion, I think it does you worse, because you're spending all this time trying to contact these leads. It's filling up your database. You're just disorganized and messy. And if you could just pay a little bit more and get a better lead quality, then it would save you time and it will increase your conversion rate, increase the amount of times you would make a sale. So my goal here is not to get you the cheapest leads possible. Anybody can do that. I want to get you high quality leads so that your business can convert, so that your business can benefit. And what we've seen actually when we're paying attention to the key performance indicators, even though our lead cost is more expensive, our cost per closed sale is drastically lower than some of my clients have experienced in the past. So let's get into it. Why are we doing this? First things first. Lead forms do make ad creation easier. However, that should never be the reason why you're doing this stuff, to make it easier, right? And if you don't know what a lead form is, if you've ever seen an ad on Facebook, which if you're watching this, you probably have, and you click the call to action, which in this case is learn more, and it pops up a little random form. It doesn't take you to a website. It just pops up a form within the Facebook ad, and it asks you a few questions. You submit it. That's a lead form. Now, there's benefits to that lead form, and one of the biggest benefits is keeping the prospect, your lead, on the Facebook platform. Now, why is that important? One, trust. If somebody's already on Facebook, they have the Facebook app downloaded on their phone, and they don't have to go and click a link and go to a different website, then it's trustworthy. They're okay putting their information in because Facebook already has all their information. So the trust is a big factor. Another thing is the meta algorithm. once you send a lead off the platform, off of Meta, off of Facebook, off of Instagram, they sort of lose control of the data. You can put a Facebook pixel on your website and kind of feed them some data, but there's been like privacy laws, and slowly companies like Apple and Google have been pushing back on what information they're willing to give Facebook about their users, right? Because their users are starting to complain. But if you keep everything on Facebook, the Meta algorithm's in charge. They know everything about that user, and every action they take on that form, if they scroll, if they filled out 3/4 of it and then they backed out, maybe they'll show them the ad later or a different version of the ad so they can get them to opt in. Little tips and tricks like that, and you kind of lose that capability when you take them off the platform, i.e. send them to a landing page or just tell them to, hey, call me now, which I think is the worst call to action because most of you guys can't even answer the phone 24/7. Facebook just loses track of that. Next thing is ease. I talked about ease a little bit. It's easy to configure in the Facebook ads business suite, and we're going to do that in this video. And then the pixel is not really necessary. Now, we are going to cover the pixel in another video because I think it's necessary. I don't think you should run ads without knowing how to do this pixel, without knowing how to configure the pixel. You can, though. If you're running Facebook lead forms, you don't necessarily need it. But I always like to feed Meta, Facebook, back more data from our CRM, LeadBrain or GoHighLevel, and show them, hey, this lead that came in actually converted into a sale. Good job. Go find me more people like that. So in a separate video, we'll show you how to configure that pixel that way. And next thing, let's see, not limited through cookie regulations. We already talked about that. Google and iOS are restricting the amount of information that's being pushed back to Facebook. Now, cons. A lot of times these forms are made up of auto-filled data. And you'll see later on when we configure this stuff, there's like name, phone number, email address, city, state, zip. You can ask for these things, and this information is automatically filled. Now, doesn't necessarily mean that people are filling stuff out on purposefully bad, but say you signed up for Facebook back in 2001, and since your phone number has changed, and Facebook just has your old phone number, and it auto-fills your old phone number, and nobody looks at it because it's auto-filled, and they just submit, you get incorrect data. Right? So that's one con about that stuff. Another one is lots of spam. So Facebook has what's called an audience network. And sometimes when you present these ads in their audience network, which are like third-party partners of theirs, there's a lot of what they call click farms. There's people who are incentivized to click and submit forms so that Facebook pays them. Like, hey, good job. You brought us a lead. We sold that lead to our customer. We're good to go. Keep doing it. But a lot of times those leads are spammy. Now, what I found is the technique that I'm going to show you today, some of the tactics and strategy I'm going to show you today in this video, you can actually still include the audience network in your platform. So it'll ask you where you want to present this. You can include the audience network because what we're going to do, it's kind of hard to spam it, right? We're going to ask a few questions that even if they had a click farm and people were just spamming leads, it'd be hard for them to submit your lead form. So I actually think Meta probably doesn't even present it to them because we ask so many questions. Now, check this out. Yeah, I put the prevention in here, friction. We're definitely gonna provide friction. Now, cost per lead. Here we go. So this is the triad, right? If it's a triangle, you kind of have to like choose one or two, but you can't have all three. You have lead volume, lead cost, and lead quality. We talked about that in the beginning. We're going to focus on quality. We can get some volume if we increase our budget, but we're really going to focus on quality, and our cost is going to go up as a result. And that's totally fine. Now, Facebook page versus Facebook profile. If you haven't watched that last video 4, go back and watch that. I explained it in there. And Business Manager, I also explained the Business Manager. We're going to be operating out of the Meta Business Suite or the Facebook Business Manager. I use those two terms synonymously. It used to be called Facebook Business Manager. Now it's the Meta Business Suite ever since they rebranded, but they're the same thing. So don't get confused. And Canva, we're not going to go over Canva today. I talked about it in the last video a little bit, and we'll talk about it again when it comes to creating the Facebook ad creative. So, first things first, we already created our page. If you haven't seen that, go to the last video. Second thing we're going to do, we're going to create a calendar in GoHighLevel. And what do I mean by calendar? We're going to create a calendar where somebody can click a link and book an appointment with you online. Now, why do we do that? In the last part of our lead form, we're actually going to encourage our leads to take an additional step and book an appointment with us to go like on our estimate calendar or whatever your business is that requires an appointment. Maybe it's like an offer call or a consultation call, you name it. Now, I love doing this, not necessarily because it makes it easier for us to book an appointment, but it tells us a lot about the lead's intent. If a lead is willing to go through and answer 4 or 5 questions, and then they give you their name, phone number, and email, and then they go in and they book an appointment where they actually have to provide their name, phone number, and email again, then they're probably a pretty high intent lead. Now, sometimes I realize that some people don't have their calendars on lock. Some people are owner-operators, they're out in the field servicing their customers, and they don't have time to update their calendar, so they don't want booking conflicts, and that's okay. I'm still going to show you how to create the calendar, but at the end, when we go through the booking page, you can just, instead of telling them to book, you can create a call to action, which is call now. So I'll show you what I mean when we get there. Let's actually just go ahead and hop in and create the calendar. So I'm here in LeadBrain. If you're new to this, in prior videos, I explained the difference between GoHighLevel and LeadBrain, so you should know that by now, but if you don't, go watch another video. But if you're using GoHighLevel or something that looks similar to this, you're probably using a system that's built off of GoHighLevel, so you can just follow my instructions. So first thing we're going to do is from the main page here, we're going to go into Calendars, and then we are going to go into Calendar Settings, and then we're going to create a calendar. I'm just going to create a simple calendar, and I'm going to name it Estimate Calendar. We're going to give it a random name here. Vets, Wash Houses, Estimates. And we're going to set the meeting duration to 1 hour, just in case. And we're going to say that we work Saturday through Friday, 8 a.m. to, let's call it 7:30 p.m. Awesome. And we're going to click Save. Now, we're not done with this. There's a few changes I do want to make to the calendar. The calendar as it stands right now has a ton of availability. You can modify that as much as you want. But one thing I do like to add is booking lead time. And what does that mean? That means, like, how soon can somebody book an appointment? I don't necessarily want somebody able to book an appointment for, like, in an hour from now. What if I'm across town and I'm servicing a job or whatever, and I can't get there in an hour? So I typically like to put a 24-hour booking lead time just so that you have enough time to look at that appointment, look at your schedule and say, hey, maybe I need to reschedule with this person. Or yeah, I can take this and I'll just put it in my calendar. So let's go ahead and click on the 3 dots here, click Edit, and then we are going to go into Availability. Let's see, scroll down here, and we're going to say minimum scheduling notice, 1 day, right? So I actually don't like to do 1 day. I like to do 12 hours. Because sometimes if you do 1 day and you're like at the end of your availability week and it's going to wait till like Tuesday and then like nothing will get booked on Monday, it gets weird. So I do 12 hours. That's typically enough time for anybody to be able to look at their calendar and deconflict. Now here you can see the different settings. We have minimum bookings per slot and all that stuff. I'm just going to leave it at this right here. And actually the meeting interval I'll also increase to 1 hour. And that means, like, hey, if I have an appointment at 12 to 1, I want at least another hour buffer before you book me another appointment. So hopefully that makes sense. And then we'll go ahead and click Save. We're going to leave everything default for now. As a matter of fact, we are going to change one thing. Let's go to Notification Options, and we're going to say, there's an acknowledgement email here. We're going to send a notification to the contact automatically. Allow Google to send notification. This is kind of like, it's gonna blast them with a few notifications, but when it comes to appointments, the more notifications, the better. And in another video, we're gonna go over a workflow where we're actually gonna configure notifications to say, hey, your booking's confirmed. Hey, your estimate appointment's in 24 hours. Your estimate appointment is in 1 hour. Your estimate appointment is in 5 minutes. Whatever the interval we decide. Now, people are gonna say, well, that's super annoying. Good. If you're across town and you're driving 30 minutes to get to the appointment, you want to give that lead as much time to either know they have an appointment, remind them they have an appointment, or give them enough time to reschedule or cancel that appointment so you don't waste your time, because time is money. So that's a different video, but let's leave that here. Now, what we're going to do is copy the link to this and save it in our worksheet here, because we're going to need it later. So I'll go ahead and let that save. And sometimes it will just take its sweet old time. There it is. I'm refreshing. Awesome. Now, this action drop down, let's go ahead and click that one more time and then share, and then we're going to copy this permanent link. So we copy that permanent link. Let's go ahead and paste it in here for later. We'll need that later. Cool. Instant forms, the fun stuff. Let's go ahead and hop into the Meta Business Suite. So if you remember, we came in here, we created our Facebook page last time. If you already have a Facebook page, just go to business.facebook.com, log in, and you should be able to see this. If you don't, you can click right here, the drop down, and find your page in there. If you don't know at all what I'm talking about, go watch video 4. You'll see how we configured this. You'll see how we added the page to our business suite, and it all makes sense. But assuming everything's good to go, and you're on this page, go ahead and click on All Tools, and then search for Instant Form. Click on it and create a form. And we're going to create a new form. And in here, we're going to name the form. I like to name it, I like to keep a standard naming convention, right? So we're going to be in Augusta here. So I say Augusta. We're going to ask 4 questions, and we're going to say this is version 1, V1. If I created a 5-question form, I would create 5 questions V1. If I modified the 4-question form, then I would say 4-question form V2, right? And this makes sense because you're gonna have to identify these later inside of LeadBrain. We'll go over that. All right, form type. I always use more volume. If you do higher intent, it adds a review step at the end that like has somebody swipe their finger in order to submit the lead, to submit the lead form. And that's all fine and dandy, but I think it's a little much. You start adding too much and people just get discouraged from submitting. Before we move on, I'm going to go to settings and I set this to open and make it shareable, right? So somebody sees your ad and they share it with a friend. The friend can open up the lead form and then they can go ahead and submit it. Now, let's go down here to intro. Now, here, the background image. We can upload an image or we can use the image from your ad. I'm just going to go ahead and use the image from our ad. So whatever image we're running will pop up in the background, and our logo is already going to be placed in here because we're using our Facebook page. Now, if we come in here and scroll down, I'm going to provide you this. So if you want to, there's a link below. If you want any of these handouts, just go ahead and submit your information. I'll send you this handout, and this will have all the questions that we're using. It'll have links. Like I think I have the snapshot link for the privacy policy and all that stuff. It's free. Just submit it. It's easier for me to automate this instead of talk to every single one of you and send it to you individually. So we're down here at greetings. We are going to copy and paste. So we have vets wash houses. You can say something here, like if you want to make this specific to your offer, like we're going to run an offer that's like, hey, free driveway cleaning with any standard home wash. And you could technically say that in the headline. The only thing I don't like about that is if you create another offer, you have to create another lead form because this lead form has that headline in it. So it's up to you. Definitely, cool to highlight your offer, but you don't have to. All right, let's say something simple here. You can get clever, but I wouldn't overthink this stuff. I feel like most people don't even read this stuff. You can also remove greeting where this page won't even show up at all. Now, I've done that before and it works just fine, but I've also seen ads where, especially when they run on Instagram, they'll kind of run in your Instagram stories and you'll see like the ad creative in the beginning with the ad copy, and then the next one will be like the lead form, like the next story in that ad will be the lead form, and it kind of looks weird without the greeting because sometimes it just says like starts asking you questions, but it's up to you. I think you should test it, see what works best for your business. So we'll go ahead and leave that greeting there, super simple, and we'll come in here to questions. Now, this is how we prevent, I shouldn't say prevent, you're still going to get spam leads. This is how we increase, like drastically increase lead quality right here. Here's the hack. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. There's like tons of content out there that are like, and this, I think this will even warn you. I know TikTok warns you, hey, if you ask too many questions, people are probably not going to opt in. Good. I only want people to opt in who are willing to answer these questions. And honestly, the more invasive the questions get, the more qualified your lead is. But also, there will be a correlation. Your lead cost will go up. Now, it's a decision you have to make. You can experiment with no questions, a little bit of questions, a lot of bit of questions, invasive questions, simple questions, multiple choice questions, simple fill questions. It's up to you. I'm going to teach you how to create an AI chatbot. So there is a school of thought that says, hey, let me ask less questions and then just let the conversation draw it out because I'm not going to spend time on unqualified leads anyway. I'm going to let the bot handle that. And that's totally valid. That'll decrease your cost per lead. It'll give you more opportunities to engage with your customers, and then just wait for the bot to qualify it. I still prefer to ask more questions and get a better lead. The conversation, the contact rate's way higher. The appointment booking rate's way higher. The conversation is way better. I'm going to teach you how to ask a lot of questions. So I have the questions over here outlined. So first thing we're going to do, I say optional qualification here. I'm going to show you what I mean by that, but I'm going to ask the question, are you within 50 miles of Augusta, Georgia? Because that is our target market. You'll notice that like the Facebook algorithm isn't perfect. If you say you want leads in Augusta, Georgia, they still might get you a lead from like Wyoming, right? It just happens. But if you ask a question like this, and you can even say like, let's see, I like to say multiple choice. You can even say, we service the Augusta, GA area. Are you within 50 miles of Augusta, Georgia? And we can ask yes or no, right? Yep, good to go. So it'll ask that. Now, if somebody clicks on this because Facebook presented it to them and they're in Wyoming and they see this, they might just exit the lead form right now, which is kind of what we want to happen, right? Now, you can also make this like a qualifying question here. So I believe it should show up in here. And if it doesn't, it'll be funny because, yeah, it's not showing up. It might show up in a little bit. But the Facebook ad interface is interesting. It'll show up different ways for different people. But we'll keep adding questions, and there's ways to like say, hey, if somebody answers no here, then just disqualify them, kick them out of the form. I rarely ever do that though. Let's go in here and say, are you interested in a free quote? I typically like to ask that last. So or after the job description. I want them to be invested. So provide job description. Now, I'm doing this because I want a short answer. I want them to not just click yes or no, multiple choice. That's too easy. I want them to type some stuff in. So they'll give us a job description. They may come in here and tell us, hey, we have a 3-story home on a basement and we want all of our windows washed and all this stuff. So the more information you have, the better. And it also gives them an opportunity to type something in, which also shows intent, right? Intent. It's huge. Cool. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to add another question, which is, are you interested in a free quote? We'll make that multiple choice. Add question, multiple choice. Are you interested in a free quote? Yes or no. And at this point, like if somebody says yes here and then we're texting them and our bot is following up with them, like and they're like, why are you just continuously trying to contact me? And they're all upset. It's kind of their fault. They said they wanted a free quote. We're just trying to reach out to them and ask them that. Last question. I'm actually going to ask this question. You can choose to do this or not. This might increase your lead cost significantly, but I also think it'll decrease like tire kickers, right? It'll increase your lead quality. And I don't think this is necessarily an issue for pressure washing companies, but we have other companies like concrete curbers who they go out and they'll do an estimate, and it's not a cheap product. It's a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $7,000 product, and so people get sticker shock when they come out there. But it's not until they get out there and give them that estimate so they realize how expensive it is, and I just think that's a big waste of time for people. So I like to put what's called a price anchor here. If you run a curbing company and your minimum job is $800, and you say, hey, our minimum job size is $800, is that okay with you? It gives people an idea like, hey, this isn't a cheap product. I am willing to pay the fee. So we're going to add this here, and for our pressure washing company, we're just going to say, hey, we won't come out for anything less than $150. Is that okay with you? And we'll make that a multiple choice question, and hopefully increase our lead quality by doing that. Now, I wanted to see if the qualification module showed up, and it didn't. And if I'm missing it, I'm sorry. I'll create another video for it. And that's it. That's all we're going to do. That's actually a lot of questions. 4 questions is a lot. I have this little hack here, right? And I'm not going to do this, but if you configure your lead form and you realize, like, I'm getting a lot of wrong numbers, and I'm not saying like the first time you get a wrong number or the first lead comes in and it's a wrong number and you're frustrated. I'm talking about like, I'm consistently getting wrong numbers, disconnected phones, landlines. People are saying like, who the hell are you? If that's the case, come in here, create a new lead form, and in that lead form, you can add a question called phone number and make it a short answer question. So they have to type their phone number in, because what that forces them to do is think about their phone number, type it in, and then in the next in the next part, you can also ask for the phone number, but that's an autofill phone number. So you might get 2 phone numbers from them, and you have a better chance of contacting them. I don't do this by default because what I've found is the information is pretty accurate. We do get, some inaccurate stuff every once in a while. And plus, in the next section, I'm going to show you here that I put a little message in here to make sure that people try to get people to overlook, take a double take at their auto-filled information. So next thing we're going to do is come to the pre-fill questions. And in this description, it's an opportunity to give some instructions. And so I like to be straight up with these people and say, hey, we will use this information to contact you regarding your free estimate. Please ensure the autofill information is accurate. I found in business, if you ask exactly what you expect of people, they actually do it. Like you have to tell them, like, hey, click learn more is a call to action. You have to say, hey, click continue, and don't beat around the bush. Make sure this information is accurate, and sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. Cool. So I like to move this around here, full name up here, and then add category, contact fields, phone number. So these are going to be auto-filled. You're going to have full name, email, and phone number. That's good to go. And now we'll come in a privacy policy. In the, let me not misspeak, in the third video, I showed you exactly how to create a privacy policy inside of GoHighLevel. I even gave you a funnel template, sort of like a snapshot, so you can import into your account and all your information will automatically populate. So we're just going to use that in place of our privacy policy because it's our privacy policy. Now, if you already have a website and your website has a privacy policy, then just use that privacy policy. You don't need to use this one. So let's go into GoHighLevel and go to sites. If you didn't watch that video and you didn't go through the tutorial on how to do this, you won't have this. So go back and watch that. But if you already have one, like I said, just go ahead and use it. So we are gonna click this little button to pop it out, and here's our privacy policy. We're gonna copy that and we're gonna paste it, and then we can write privacy policy in here for link text. We're gonna skip the custom disclaimer. Here, like if you had an offer, let's say we're gonna give away free driveway washes, in here you can add a custom disclaimer and explain your offer in there or add the terms and conditions of the offer. I leave it blank. I just like to hop on the phone with somebody and tell them what our offer is and explain there. Now, completion. This is where most people screw up, right? People use this page and they just say like, oh, thank you. And then they say, go visit our website. But like, why? What are they going to do on your website, right? This is an opportunity to have them do something else to move them along in your sales process, which an estimate is the next step. You want to go to their house and schedule a free estimate. So we're going to try to do that right here without even talking to anybody. We're going to try to give them the opportunity to do it themselves, which is why we created that online calendar before. So I don't like to say thank you, you're all set, because you're not all set. We need you to book an appointment. So we'll come in here, and what I like to say is, you're almost done, right? You're not done yet, you're almost done. And then in parentheses, I might say 1 out of 2, as if you're in like step 1 of 2. And then in here, I like to say, hey, thanks for providing that information. Here's what you can expect. If you don't want to deal with all this hoopla, then you can skip the line and click the link below and book your own appointment, right? So that the chatbot doesn't have to do any work. Your assistant doesn't have to do any work. I don't have to do any work. Good to go, right? So let's go ahead and read this together. So looks like here's what you can expect. Looks like my numbers disappeared. So let's just say 1. Let's say 2. And you should read this stuff and check for errors. I'm pretty bad at that. And if you do that, you kind of waste time. You have to like do it all over again. So it can get pretty annoying. So thank you for providing your information. Here's what you can expect. Someone from our team will text you, right? Expect a text from Alexis, our bot, to verify your information. Alexis is going to ask questions, so expect it. Our qualified estimate team will reach out to you and schedule your free estimate. Cool. And then we'll set up a time to get your house washed. If you want to skip the line and schedule your own estimate, click below, right? So awesome. We're going to say go to website. The call to action is going to say schedule estimate now. And I like to put these little carrots just to draw attention to the button. And we're going to come back here, and we had copied our calendar before. Let's make sure it actually works. How about that? We don't need this anymore. Awesome. So here's our estimate calendar. We could select a page, and then it's going to ask for these questions. Cool. It's going to ask me these questions. Awesome. That's all we need. So let's go back, make sure we got the right one. Copy that. And here's the link. Awesome. Create the form. Now we have the form. in the future, if we want to iterate on this form and we want to make another form, we don't have to start from scratch. That was a lot of work. It did take some time. You can just click create form, and then we can duplicate an existing form, and we can look for a form, and sometimes it does not show up and we have to refresh. Let's do that now. Create form, duplicate form. There you go. There it is. So you can just duplicate it, start from that, and then you know you have a baseline. Sometimes like you want to change the link and the call to action at the end, or change it to a phone number or whatever, you can do that. So we have our lead form. At this point, we're mission complete, right? But not so fast. We just had the lead form in Facebook. How does GoHighLevel know about it? So I'm going to show you exactly how this lead form connects to GoHighLevel or LeadBrain, right? Because this alone works for Facebook, but Facebook doesn't know about GoHighLevel. I'm going to show you how to do that. So first things first, we're going to come in here, go into settings, and then we are going to go into integrations. And then in this integrations, you're going to see a Facebook, right? Let's connect our Facebook, click connect. And in here, we are going to search for our page, which is Vets Wash Houses. Connect that page. Super easy. It's connected. If you weren't logged into Facebook, it'll ask you to log into Facebook, and then it'll look for your pages. And that's it. We haven't created an ad account, so we're not going to select an ad account yet. But what we are going to do, this is a super important step, is we have to map the fields. We have to tell GoHighLevel, hey, what do these fields mean in this form? Because you asked like 4 questions, but I don't know what they mean. I know what the name, phone number, and email is, but what's the rest? So up here, still in integrations, right here, there's a Facebook form fields mapping. Click on that. We should see our form. There it is. Our form just popped up automatically. Super convenient. Click map fields. And then we have service area, right? Let's go down here and scroll down. We have target market, right? That's what we named it in our 3rd video. We created a custom field saying target market. It's going to be a yes or no question. So when a contact gets put in here and they said yes to that question, it's going to be like in there, it's going to say target market, yes, right? If they said no, target market, no. It's an unqualified lead. So are you interested in a free quote? We said interested. Cool. That's a custom field that we created. If you don't know what a custom field is, or you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch video 3. I go over all that, right? It's where we created these things. Don't skip a step. Now, our minimum job size is 150. Is that okay? I think we created a price anchor. Yep, price anchor field. And then brief job description. If we come in here, job description. Cool. Now we have the fields map. You see full name, email, phone number. Make sure you save. And then once you click save, the fields are mapped. And the form fields are mapped. We have the form created in Facebook. Now, if anybody fills out that form, it's going to come into GoHighLevel, and we're going to be able to see it. And as a matter of fact, we can test it. I'm going to do this live. I didn't plan to test this, but let's go ahead and test this. So let me see if I can open up a new window. And we are going to lead add testing tool. So if you just go to this developer, and I'm gonna put this in the handout because I'm gonna give this to you as well. Lead add testing tool. Awesome. So we can actually create a test lead to make sure that the information is making it all the way to our CRM. So what I like to do first is I start with delete the lead. I don't know if there was a lead in there. It said no, there was no lead, and then we're gonna create a lead. Click create a lead. It's going to create a bogus lead in your system, and then we should go back to GoHighLevel and go to our contacts, and we should see that bogus lead created, and that tests the connection, the integration between Facebook and GoHighLevel. So let's go in here, go to contacts, and it did not populate. So let's see why. Success. Let's see. Where are you at? Interesting. So it did not populate. I don't know why. Let's go ahead and create another one. Let's delete that lead. We're going to preview this form. Let's just answer these questions. Yes. Test. And then cool. Just have contact information in there. Submit. And then if we click schedule estimate now, we could test that link actually works. Cool. And let's exit out of here, and this should actually create our lead. Now, there has been a bug recently with Facebook where their integrations have been messed up, so I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. It is a big pain in the butt that's been happening with Meta, but it's never happened before, and it's probably going to be fixed here within the next 24 hours. There it is. It just showed up. So here's the contact. Here's the information. It just took a second. Now it's in our system. So the integration's good, right? I'm going to end the video here because that went really long. Hopefully you got a lot out of this. If you want to recap, we created the calendar, right? We created the lead form. We integrated the lead form into GoHighLevel, and I showed you exactly how you can increase your quality, your lead quality with lead forms and stay on the platform and make it easier to manage for you and your team. Stay tuned for the next video. We're going to get into some really interesting stuff. I'm super stoked to get into, I think we're going to build a bot next. Are we going to build a bot next? Ooh, we're going to build a bot next. This is huge, right? That's going to be a longer video, but you're going to want to pay attention. We're going to build a fully functional AI chatbot. We're going to test it live, and I'm excited for that one. And then we're going to go into how to create Facebook ads and all that stuff. So highly recommend. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, give me some feedback. Hopefully you have a nice evening. Peace.